Hey everyone, welcome back to Immediate Movie Reactions. I'm here with another list. This is 13 horror films for young fans. These are for people that are just starting out. This is inspired by a friend who asked me for some recommendations for movies for her son that is just starting to get to that age and wanting to watch some scary things. Obviously, it's Halloween, right? So here we are. This is broken into two sections. The first one are three films or series that I think are good as kind of family films, can go across multiple age brackets. The second skews definitely for older kids, or even people that don't watch a lot of scary movies. I tried to avoid anything that had excessive gore or violence, so there aren't really any slasher films in here. I tried to avoid anything that had nudity or sexuality, especially very prevalent or prominent. Unfortunately, that meant no American Werewolf in London. And swearing, I tried to keep the swearing to a minimum. There's obviously a lot of R-rated movies, so there's going to be some language in some of these, and use your own discretion. Obviously, this is not what I think that you need to watch these films to have an education in the diaspora of horror films. But I think these are just good places to start that are going to be scary, but maybe not too scary to keep people up at night. So, anyways, here we are. I'm going to jump right into it. The first set of films that I think that we should watch is the Goosebumps series, right? I think that the Goosebumps series are fun. There's two films in this. Not a huge fan of Jack Black, but I think in right circumstances, he's fantastic. These are fun movies. It hits all of those monsters we want to see. And I think that younger kids and older kids can watch and enjoy this. You can watch this as a family, and not feel like, you know, maybe you've ruined your kid's night's sleep or whatever it might be. The second one is going to be the Beetlejuice series. Now, in my review, this is not rated P, this is rated PG. Though potentially they could, I guess, veer into PG-13 because we forget exactly how intense some of the scenes in that first Beetlejuice are. I hated Beetlejuice. I hated it so much. It almost ruined the first film for me. However, when I was watching it in the theater, there were some younger fans who were laughing and enjoying and having fun. I think that there is a lot to like about this series. It's cartoonish enough that it's not going to, again, scar them forever. But it might be scary enough to at least get that feeling that they're watching, big kid movies or whatever it might be. And the last one, obviously, we know what it has to be, and that's going to be Ghostbusters. Absolutely a fantastic series of films. I'm not going to get into how underrated I think that the remake with Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones and all that is. I think that's an underrated film. The first Ghostbusters, so there is, if you remember enough about it, there is sort of a sexual scene. Luckily for a theatrical release, it did get cut. Some of it because Chevy Chase wanted to go, or no, I'm sorry, Aykroyd wanted to go a little bit longer than it should have been. There are five films in this. I think the last two films are both really, really good. Even though Frozen Empire gets a little bit maybe silly, there are definitely some moments where you feel like you're watching a ghost film, a ghost story, whatever. So that's it. Those are the films that I think that you can watch as a whole family and still enjoy. So we're going to get into the sort of list proper, I guess, here. And the first one, I'm going to start out 1980s The Thing. And this is rated R. There's some, let's say, light body horror, cosmic horrors. This alien has crashed, and then this remote crew in, oh my gosh, I think it's Antarctica. But anyways, they find it, and then it starts to do the things that it does. So the reason I say that this gore is sort of light is because obviously the special effects don't hold up. However, the film definitely does. This is one where a lot of people who do watch scary movies, this is a place where most of them got their start. It's still a fantastic film. It has limited language, and some scares that will definitely make young fans jump, I think. Fantastic film, highly recommended for anyone. After that, I'm going to go to The Fog, which, if I remember correctly, was 1982. There was a remake that came out in this, and I don't have the rating here. That is a rated R film. And the violence, it is John Carpenter, so it's not quite as violent as, say, Halloween. However, there's definitely some killing in this. The idea is that this fog rolls in, and when it does, this pirate ship comes with it, and they get into people's houses and wreak havoc and kill people and stuff. Actually, kind of scary. There was a remake, I believe 2015. I could be wrong on that. Please check me if I'm wrong, um, which I have not seen. I think Maggie Grace was in it. I don't know. I just love this film. I've seen it so many times. I could watch it again and again. I think it's great. I think it's a really good place to get started. It's scary, but it all kind of wraps up nicely at the end. So we're fine. The next film is actually a newer film. This is one that I didn't necessarily rate as high as I probably should have, and that's Good Boy. The reason this made the list is because number one, it's a contemporary film. It's recent, right? It's this year, 2025. Um, it is great to see. I said I don't want to talk about having historical knowledge of horror movies for this, but I do think it's good to see that other point of view. And as you watch other scary movies now on from this, you'll start to see where the animals place. And this is the story of a dog going through the ghost story that its owner is also experiencing, and how does it react and all that sort of thing. Watching some behind the scenes, I think I underrated this movie, unfortunately. It's a really good film. My kids, strangely enough, hate horror movies, they don't watch them. My 16-year-old went and saw this with me and quite enjoyed it. He said it wasn't that bad. Um, with this, I would also say there's a movie called Mama. I think it was a terrible, terrible movie. This was probably 8 to 10 years ago. I don't remember the exact time. Um, that is the same sort of thing as far as like being really intense and scary, but also kind of not. And so, yeah, I think Good Boy is definitely a great place to start if you're starting to get into scary stories and ghost stories and that sort of thing. The next one here, these aren't all movies that I like. This is it. And there are two films in the series. I have not seen the second one. We know what it is. It's a Stephen King film. It's sort of a smorgasbord, a buffet of horror. It throws everything from clowns to spiders to zombies to all sorts of ghosts. Everything is in this, and that's the premise of it. Um, I don't like it. I don't think it's a good movie. I don't think it's a good film. I don't like the story. However, it is obviously important to the culture for a long time, right? It has been in our zeitgeist. And I think it's something that kids now still talk about, Pennywise and it and all of that. And I think if you're going to watch a version of it, this is the best version of it. It's just not my sort of thing, right? It tries to do too much. But oh, I don't know how I missed a rating on this. Again, this is a rated R film. Um, but this is one that I think that if you are starting to watch scary movies, this is something that they're going to be able to watch and talk about with their friends and stuff like that. The next film on from here is actually, I'm going to go with the Blair Witch Project. Now, it is rated R, and that's really for the content of the film and the language, right? The language does get a little severe in this, but it probably should have been a PG-13 film. I would say definitely skip the sequels. Lionsgate and what they've done with it, it's kind of tragic what they've done with the actors and the people that were in this film who really made this. Because even though Sanchez and Myrick were the writers and directors, it was the actors who made this film what it is. I don't want to get into all of that. It's scary. It's been cleaned up. It's fantastic. This is in that horror, but within a specific genre of the found footage. I think this is a fantastic film. As someone who used to do a lot of camping in Gambrel State Park in Maryland, or, around Baltimore and Frederick, that area, that's where basically where this was filmed. And man, those woods are scary at night. So this is a fantastic film, and there's a lot of lore and stuff you can go on from there. The next one, again, these are not in a list of what I think are best to worst or anything like that, because Thing would have obviously been way, way, way higher than this. This is a film that I will be honest, I have not seen. I have no plans on watching it. I do not understand how Freddy Fazbear is still within our cultural relevance, right? Like, but kids love it, right? The middle age, middle school and even high school, they're still into this. My kids have all watched this film and thought it was fine. They weren't overly scared by it, but they thought it was scary enough. It's only PG-13. There is another film coming out early November. I don't know why it's not out by Halloween. That makes no sense at all to me. But how this movie was successful when we all thought it was going to fail is beyond me. the series just keeps going. So here we are. Um, Definitely Five Nights at Freddy is going to be fine. Nothing extremely violent or anything like that. It's a movie again that they'll be able to watch with their friends. Megan is in here as well. Again, another film that I did not like, but is sort of like that deadly friend from I think it's 1985. That idea of the robot coming to life and killing people and yada yada yada. Um, Within those genres that we may want to watch in order to start watching all of the horror movies, maybe that'll get us to A Cabin in the Woods, which is so much better than most of the films that are on this list. Anyways, really violent though and sexual, so I couldn't put it on here. Poltergeist. Man, I think it was 82 that this movie came out. I saw this in the theater. So I was 7. Boy, probably wrong of me to see it then, but I did. How it's only PG-13, or I'm sorry, PG. I think it would definitely be PG-13 now. Directed by Toby Hooper, not Steven Spielberg, who did write it though. He was obviously involved in the creation, and this movie is way scarier than you think. This is that fear, that phobia of clowns and all of that, and the trees. Oh my gosh, like this is definitely a movie that holds up really well. I think potentially along with this Amityville Horror. However, I think that I don't know. That's tough because that movie obviously has a lot more blood and that sort of thing. Um, and on that, the Conjuring films are not on this, and that's because of um, Lorraine and I can't remember their names right now, but the con artists that started all that sort of thing. All right, so the next film on my list here is going to be The Sixth Sense. Again, probably much scarier than we remember. There are some moments in this that are truly tense. I don't know how exciting the overall movie is, but I think for nothing else, to see it before it gets spoiled. I think that this is one like if you remember when he's in the tent and there's the ghost girl and all that. There's some scary moments in this film. And I do think that it is important to watch it before you see the memes and before you get the jokes and everything gets spoiled for you. Along with that, the others, which I actually originally had on this list, but it's so hard to find where you can get it streaming. That's Nicole Kidman. Again, that's another fantastic film. But this, yeah, I think this is definitely one that we should watch. Um, the last film on my list is actually going to be Quiet Place. I think Quiet Place is fantastic. I don't like John Krasinski. He did a great job with this. Again, it's tense. There's some violence sort of off screen. There's tension. There's scares. I think that this is a fantastic film. I did not see the second one. I saw the third one, the prequel, which I thought was pretty good. And I think that this is one that does deserve to be on the list. There were a lot of or sort of copycats with Bird Box and that sort of thing, which I don't think were as successful. But I think that this is going to be a good one that you could let them watch without feeling like you've completely changed or ruined their lives or anything. So there we are. I do appreciate everyone for sticking through. If I miss anything, please comment and let me know down below. If you really, really disagree with anything being on here, I understand. Use your own discretion, obviously, at the end of this. If you could please like, share, subscribe, and I will see you all after the next movie.